So thank you so much for being here. As always, the meeting is broadcasted on our district's YouTube channel. The link is on our website and on the agenda for transparency purposes and to keep our citizens informed and for convenience. As always, you must be present to participate in the meeting during citizens' comments. Today we have 2 spots on our agenda. Pertaining to any agenda item would be number 7, and pertaining to a non-agenda item would be at number 14. For all of you that are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Here's our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Kathy, roll call, please.
Trustee Babbage.
Present.
Trustee Martin.
Present.
Trustee McDonald.
Present.
Trustee Warren.
Present.
Trustee Klein.
Present.
Trustee Philippia.
Present.
Trustee Lukey.
Present.
Thank you. That now takes us to the ceremonial oath of office. Mr. Darga.
Allen Park Public Schools had 3 board members re-elected in last November's election. At this time, I'd like to administer a ceremonial oath of office to each trustee. If I could please have Ms. Sarah Flipiak, Ms. Laura Lukey, and Dr. Jennifer Warren stand. And please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
of member of the Board of Education of Allen Park Public Schools according to the best of my ability.
of member of the Board of Education of Allen Park Public Schools according to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That went well.
That's right.
That's right. Good job, guys.
Can we get a photo?
We gotta get a picture.
Come. Oh, you want to go over there? It's good for me to move my legs.
I'll get it. I'll send it to you.
We'll go get a coffee.
Coffee pot. You get in the middle.
What does that say here?
All y'all drama. Oh.
Get one more. All good.
Thank
Very good.
you.
Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we will be electing somebody to act as the chairperson. So members of the board will now be electing an acting chairperson until the election of the president. Is there a motion for anyone to act as a chairperson? I would like to nominate Trustee Flipiak.
Second.
Perfect.
You don't do a second.
Oh, it said it in here.
Oh.
So it was nominated by me and seconded by Mr. Martin. We have a motion by myself and supported by Trustee Martin that Trustee Flipiak serve as the acting chairperson until the election of president has been completed. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No opposed.
I was like, you seconded it. You're not allowed.
I'm not opposed.
All right.
It's been a long day.
The chair.
Good luck now.
That's
That's so funny.
They backed the tape up on that.
Yeah, right. That's right.
I got so confused there, Steve.
Front and center when you turn that.
The election of officers is held at the first meeting in January to coincide with the date of any scheduled elections, terms of office from the preceding November election in even years. Board trustees do not have to be present to be nominated for an office as long as their acceptance has been indicated. All offices of the Board of Education are hereby declared open, and the floor is now open for nominations for the position of president.
So do we nominate?
Mhm.
I nominate Jennifer Warren to serve as president of the Board of Education until the next organizational meeting in January of next year.
Is the nomination accepted, Dr. Warren?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any further nominations for the office of president? Hearing none, the floor is closed for nominations. I move that trustee Jennifer Warren be named president of the Allen Park Board of Education. Is there support?
Support.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is hereby declared that trustee Jennifer Warren has been elected president of the Board of Education for the 2025 calendar year. Congratulations, President Warren.
I don't know, that gavel's right.
I know, I love the
Oh, I have one more spot? Okay.
Oh, I guess you got a little
Yeah,
one.
you're good. Thank you all.
Oh, thank you all for this opportunity to serve as acting chairperson. The newly elected president will now take over and preside over the rest of the meeting.
Hey, Glory minutes over.
I
That's it.
I know, I missed my
That's
phone
it.
report.
I thought you were.
I like your gavel.
I know,
I feel like I
did
better
too.
step up my gavel game.
Feel like the timing is.
That was perfect.
I liked it. All right, at this time, the floor is now open to accept nominations for the office of vice president.
I nominate trustee Sarah Flipiak to serve as vice president of the Board of Education until next organizational meeting in January of next year.
Is the nomination accepted?
Yes.
Are there any further nominations for the office of vice president? Hearing none, the floor is closed for nominations. I move that trustee Sarah Flipiak be named vice president of Allen Park Board of Education. Is there support?
Support.
Perfect. It's been nominated by Steve, supported by Mike Klein. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is hereby declared that trustee Sarah Flipiak has been elected vice president of the Board of Education for the 2025 calendar year. Congratulations, Vice President Flipiak.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
At this time, the floor is now open to accept nominations for the office of secretary.
I nominate trustee Laura Lukey to serve as secretary of the Board of Education until the next organizational meeting in January of next year.
Is the nomination accepted?
It is, thank you.
Any further nominations for the office of secretary? Hearing none, the floor is closed for nominations. I move that trustee Laura Lukey be named secretary of Allen Park Board of Education. Is there support?
Support.
It's been nominated by Sarah and supported by Steve. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. It is hereby declared that trustee Laura Lukey has been elected secretary of the Board of Education for the 2025 calendar year. Should I Good. Congratulations, Secretary Lukey. At this time, the floor is now open to accept nominations for the office of treasurer. I nominate trustee Martin to serve as treasurer of the Board of Education until the next organizational meeting in January of next year. Is the nomination accepted?
Yes.
Are there any further nominations for the office of treasurer? Hearing none, the floor is closed for nominations. I move that trustee Steve Martin be named treasurer of the Allen Park Board of Education. Is there support?
Support.
Support.
It's been moved by me, supported by Jeanette. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. It is hereby declared that trustee Steve Martin has been elected treasurer of the Board of Education for the 2025 calendar year. There you go, just for fun. All right, congratulations, Treasurer Martin.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to all new officers and thank you to all of the previous officers for a job well done. January is Board Appreciation Month and we'll formally be celebrating all of our board members at the January 27th regular meeting.
Perfect, thank you, Mr. Darga. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda as proposed tonight? Perfect, hearing none, we will move on to our first section of citizens' comments pertaining to the agenda item. Do we have any, Ms. Rios?
No, we don't.
Okay. That will then take us to approval of consent agenda items. I am looking for a unanimous consent of the consent agenda items that have been presented to the board for review. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved as presented. Now is time for president's comments, and as of this time, I have nothing. And then reading of communications, Secretary Lukey.
I have nothing at this time, thank you.
You're welcome. And that takes us to personnel, Mr. Darga.
We are recommending that the individuals as is to be employed, the candidates were interviewed and recommended by committee. These positions became available as a result of bid pool, resignation, or retirement, and newly added positions. As appropriate, background checks have been conducted. Jeff Arnoldi, varsity boys golf assistant coach, Alpart High School. Amelia Crawford, first grade teacher, Benny. Brad Krutz, varsity girls golf assistant coach, Alpart High School. Anthony Farkas, varsity boys soccer co-assistant coach, Alpart High School. Shane Farrell, ski club co-advisor, Alpart Middle School. David Frazier, varsity softball assistant coach, Alpart High School. Mark Fournier, custodian, Alpart Middle School. Kyle Harland, varsity boys soccer co-assistant coach, Alpart High School. Kathleen Hunt, substitute teacher, Alpart High School. Charlotte Kerr, latchkey worker, Arno. Robin Clement, substitute teacher at Alpart High School. Megan McGill, varsity competitive cheer assistant coach, Alpart High School. Rachel Trapani, varsity girls basketball assistant coach, Alpart High School. Amber Vasquez, lunch paraprofessional, Arno.
I move that the recommendations for employment and services be approved by the board for the individuals as listed.
Support.
It's been moved by me and supported by Steve Martin, Treasurer Martin. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries. Congratulations, everybody. That takes us to resignations, Mr. Darga.
Craig Frazier, varsity assistant baseball coach, Alpart High School. Patrick LeMay, resource room teacher, Alpart High School. Shirley Moreno, bus aid transportation, and Kirsten Pierfully, Spanish teacher, Alpart High School.
Thank you. And then retirements.
Leslie McCall, first grade teacher from Benny.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to introduction of organizational business. And Mr. Darga, we're going to have you get us started.
At the organizational meeting, regular board meetings for the year are selected and scheduled each month, with 2 regular meetings scheduled in the months of January, which is the organizational, and June, which is public budget hearing. Additionally, we have proposed a schedule of work sessions for the board for the 2025 year as well. If there is not a need for any particular work session, the work sessions will be canceled.
I move that the regular meeting dates and work sessions for 2025 be approved as presented.
Support.
It's been moved by Jeanette and supported by Steve. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries. That takes us, oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Did I see a copy of those dates
Yeah.
in the paperwork that we were
It's
emailing?
on the
Okay, I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure that
And
I had seen that.
it was in our folder. You put it in
Okay.
our folder last time, I believe.
I thought I had, I just wanted to double check that I had seen it.
All right, that takes us to designating signatories.
The president and treasurer of the board should be designated signatories for the general fund, activity fund, capital project fund, food service fund, bond fund, debt service fund, and investments.
I move that the following be designated signatories for the Elm Park Public School District. President Jen Warren, Treasurer Steve Martin for the General Fund, Activity Fund, Capital Project Fund, Food Service Fund, Bond Fund, Debt Service Fund, as well as investments.
Support.
It's been moved by Jeanette and supported by Steve. Is there any discussion? Great. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, motion carries. That takes us to number 3, appointment of legal counsel, Mr. Darga.
We have been pleased with the legal services of Keller and Toma Law for personal and student family related issues. Additionally, we have utilized Truden Law Firm PC for all special education issues, finance matters, and public elections. At this time, I am recommending that just continue to utilize the services of both firms.
I move that the law firms of Keller, Toma Law, and Thrun Law Firm PC be utilized by the district for legal services during the 2025, and further that the superintendent of schools be authorized to exercise his discretion in utilizing the services of legal counsel based on the legal expertise needed in each instance.
Support.
It's been moved by Vice President Flippia and supported by Secretary Lukey. Is there any discussion?
Mike, do you ever use, Thrun, kind of like we used to when, they were on board before Keller and Toma?
Yeah,
but do
there's
you
no-
ever touch base with any of those?
Yeah, now and then, just to get their opinion. We still go to a lot of their, they still host a lot of different, professional development opportunities, so we still go to a lot of those as well. And then we'll touch base with them. There's been a couple times when we've got Gary's interpretation, and then we've also called over.
Okay, that was really my question, I guess, is,
Yeah, just to make sure.
Just to
you know,
make sure.
because- Yeah,
and they're both on retainer then?
yeah, we pay retainer to both, yeah.
Because we have two, are the retainers cheaper?
Well, yeah, not necessarily with True Law, but we definitely are saving a lot of money with Keller and Toma compared to just True Law. Because before we were just with True the whole time, and since we separated out and just kind of moved the what's more special ed related, Keller and Toma is definitely a lot cheaper.
And did Trune, cut back at all?
No.
because we
What it
don't
was
use
is
them as
because we
much?
don't use them as much because we're using Gary
Yeah,
more so that the price structure is a lot different. And when we were with, remember Robert from True Law? Robert was a big partner.
yeah,
So we paid bigger bucks. And so, there's a different price structure. So we are saving some funds.
thank you.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries.
Jen, are we allowed to go back to the board meetings? Or is that a violation of protocol? I'm just looking through it now, and there's some things on here that I think are wrong. I think it's probably just typos, but I just want to double check.
Okay,
We can do it later, it doesn't have to be, I can do it after a meeting too.
okay. Yeah, we'll do it after, but before we close out the meeting. Thank you for bringing that up, though. So that takes us to number 4, adoption of board norms. At a previous work session, the sample board norms from MASB were shared with the board members, and they were given an opportunity to make changes or suggestions accordingly.
I move that the Allen Park Board of Education adopt the board norms as presented.
Support.
It's been moved by Secretary Lukey and supported by Vice
You gotta
President.
talk louder.
It's been moved by Secretary Lukey and supported by Vice President Flippia. All right, is there any discussion?
Yeah, some of these just comment like this one, which says committee of the whole. Isn't there 2 committees that have to be by law? We have to have 2 committees by law according to MASB. I forget what those 2 committees were, but then there are 2 committees that we have to have a budget and then something else.
So-
There's-
When we were just at the organizational meeting, they told us that those committees could be ad hoc committees.
Okay. then
But
we
yes,
still
they would
to-
have to have, like,
Okay.
there's certain things that we have to do ad hocs for,
Okay,
and, budget finance is one of those.
okay. All right,
Can we read the motion?
Yes,
I move that the Allen Park Board of Education approve the continuation of board committees with the president appointing board members to the committees at the next regularly scheduled meeting.
I thought we were on the
We were on number 4.
we're on the norms, yeah.
We're on
I
number
thought we were
4.
on a committee structure, because that's what Jim said.
so that's
No, we
what I
never
was-
voted on number
We
4.
never
Just
voted
voted
on
sorry,
that.
sorry. We need support in that.
Well, is there any other
You
discussion?
need to-
It's been
Moved
moved.
Okay,
it, supported.
So, yes, it's been moved and supported. So now all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries. So that takes us to the committee structure. Here we have 2 different options that we can go with. As a board, we've talked about committee of a whole, so that way everybody kind of knows what's going on, and we could do those at our work session. And then obviously, if there's something going on, we could have an ad hoc committee where I could say, okay, Steve, as a finance person, I would like you to get a team to work together to figure out if, this is correct. And then the other way that we could go about it is, keeping it like status quo with all of the committees. However, we're doing the committees a little wrong. Committees actually need to meet, they need to take minutes, and they need to put them back to every single person here. Yeah, and they need to be posted, as well. So, you know, we have so many committees right now that truly never do meet. So that is where, MASB was guiding us to go to committee of the whole and do ad hoc committees. Now it is up to you guys.
So we just need a motion before discussion.
Correct. I just wanted to give both options before you motion.
So I move that the Allen Park Board of Education move from individual committee structure to a committee of the whole with ad hoc committees being formed as needed for specific matters.
Support.
It's been moved by Sarah and supported by Laura. All right, are there any discussions? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Perfect, motion carries. That takes us to number 6. Number 6 is the board member compensation. I'm just gonna give you a quick overview before anybody reads off a motion, but just to kind of give you an idea, we talked about this before. The board members currently right now receive $30 per meeting as indicated in our board policy. Some people have had questions about if we should increase that or not, or if we should just do an annual stipend. So there are 3 different motions there for all of you to choose from. So when anybody's ready, they can make a suggested motion.
I'd keep it the same. I move the board education members continue to receive $30 per meeting as indicated in board policy.
I will support that. It's been moved by Mike Klein, supported by myself. All right, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. All right, before we move on to the superintendent's report, I did want to touch back real quick with Mr. Klein. Are you looking at May 12th board work session to be May 12th, not May 13th?
Yeah, I think they're both May 12, right?
Yep,
And then the same thing, I think, down in September.
September 8th and
8th,
September.
same?
Yep, those were
Okay.
both typos.
And then we have the 27th of October is a second, basically meeting, but a work session with no
So-
meeting.
That is, remember how we meet with the admins and it took way too long
Yeah.
to try to do both into one, so we've
Okay.
separated it out.
We'll separate it out.
And then December 1st is the same.
December
That's right.
1st is then the pre-organizational meeting
Meeting
that
before December
MASB
8th.
suggests
Okay.
that we should have.
Okay, cool.
So you probably don't need to change anything because these just match.
Yes.
The other day.
Yep, just
So
so
that vote was fine.
okay. All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, that takes us to the superintendent's report. I believe, yes, Mr. Darga.
Very good. I would like to share a communication that I received the state superintendent, MDE, is pleased to see that based on the 2024 Mission School Index results, Allen Park High School that was identified for targeted support and improvement based on one or more student subgroups performing at or below the bottom 25% in 2023 identification cycle and were not re-identified in 2024. To not be re-identified for TSI is an indication of progress and a positive step in the journey of continuous improvement. MDE commends the efforts that our district is making to meet the needs of those identified student subgroups and encourages us to continue strengthening those supports being provided to ensure continuous growth and improvement learner outcomes. Great job, Allen Park High School. Shout out to Michelle Keene, Allen Park High School social worker, for always being available to assist our students when needed, no matter what school building they may be in. Thank you, Michelle. Building Up to Kindergarten Part 2 will be held on Thursday, January the 16th at 4:30 p.m. at Benny Elementary. This event is for all incoming kindergartners to the district and their parents or guardians. There's no school for students on Friday, January 17th due to staff professional development, and no school for staff and students on Monday, January 20th in honor of MLK Junior Day. Please note that the reflection celebration that was scheduled for this Wednesday, January 15th, is being rescheduled to February. Please continue to check the district calendar on our website and Parent Square for this event and the additional building events.
Thank you, Mr. Darga.
Yes.
That takes us to citizens' comments pertaining to non-agenda items. And I do have one from Kendra Peyton Lynn. Come on up, Kendra. You already know everything, but just so you know, please limit comments to 3 minutes. There will be a timer. I don't think you'll need one, but Mrs. Rios will have it. The purpose of this is for public participation portion of this meeting and is to provide an opportunity for the citizens to share their thoughts with the board by addressing the president. Personal concerns are best handled through proper channels. Questionings requiring investigations will be referred to the superintendent for consideration. Go for it.
Thank you. Well, first off, thank you all for taking time out of your lives to serve as board. I noticed that the rate of $30 per meeting is robust. So you're welcome. I should have brought you treats. Kind of attitude. But in the spirit of gratitude, as you guys know, throughout the December months, a lot of community organizations step up to support our schools. And I just want to make sure that they get their honor and their due in front of the board. We have Roush, which is an automotive systems. There's a hot dog hamburger crew that cooks every Tuesday on the grill. They get donations, and they have single-handedly donated thousands of dollars of gift cards to the buildings to support families in need. And it has been very, very critically helpful. There's a whole bunch of incredibly behind-the-scenes elves that work for the Toy Box Project to make sure that I believe 35 families this year all got incredible amounts of supports. So I know that you're one of the elves, so thank you for that. I can't imagine the job that it takes to make that happen seamless, but the families always say that it's seamless. Our PTAs have also been really instrumental in making sure that our families that don't necessarily get those needs met easily through both those, they did some gift giving and some giving tree themselves, and they had a hat and scarf and glove drive for our kids throughout our elementary building, so they get a huge shout out. Our Shop with the Heroes program always adopts about 10 families at Myers and 10 families at Target, and those kiddos are so honored to shop with a firefighter or a police officer. So those are just a handful of community organizations that really stretch out to our schools to make sure our families are getting their needs met.
And just to kind of commit you back, and I appreciate that, Kendra. There's so many awesome photos that come from these events, but a lot of times on social media, we don't share. You know, just trying to protect some of the identities of the families and things of that nature, but it really is something. Yeah.
They talk about it for years.
Yes, yeah.
All of these programs
Yeah.
they talk about it. And I don't want to leave out, local churches also reach out to the social workers and just donate anonymously.
Yeah.
So there's just so much that goes on. Hopefully it continues through the spring.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. All right, that takes us to reports of officers. We will start over here with Secretary Lukey.
I do want to say I went to the Night of Remembrance, and next year, if anybody is available to attend, it was so wonderful. It was a unique experience, and it was so touching and respectful and honoring. And like when I left, my heart felt different, and I had so much appreciation for the people that put it on. Dr. Sokol was there, and Miss Keene and Mrs. Weaver, and then a lot of the student organizations were also involved. And it just, knowing
Sorry, go on.
the hecticness and chaos that like the holiday can bring, like when I left there, it was like, no, I'm just gonna embrace every single loved one I have and know that all the chaos is just right, like I can deal with that. Like it was wonderful, and I wanted to thank everybody that put it together because it was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Vice President Flippia.
Nothing to report.
All right. Trustee
No
Klein.
report.
Trustee no report. And Treasurer Martin.
Say a report.
And Trustee Babich.
No report.
And I also have nothing to report.
Night of Remembrance.
At this time,
Jen, I said reflection because they talked about
reflection.
reflection.
Yeah, it was
Night of Remembrance.
Night of Remembrance.
Sorry.
At this time, the meeting is hereby adjourned at